Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. The theme of today's episode is Am I the Devil subreddit. Okay, we haven't done this one yet, so are you guys excited? I'm excited. Let's go. The title of the first story is I pretended to have a vasectomy 2 years later, and my wife is pregnant. Hello Reddit, I have been a long-term lurker, but I haven't posted. I am a frequent user of this app, however, my wife doesn't really like it, but I still want to be precautious as she knows my users, so this is my throwaway account. By the way, I put a TLDR on the bottom. I'm going through a horrible dilemma, and I'm so deep in, I have no idea what to do. My wife and I have been married for 9 years, and we have 2 kids together, and we aren't planning on having any more. Well, my wife is set on that idea, but I wanted to have at least 5 kids, and she only wanted to have 1 or none. This doesn't take away from the fact that she is a great mother, it's just her preference. Going into the marriage, we sort of compromised to have maybe 2 or 3 kids. I'm set on having 3, but she didn't want any more. It's been 5 years since having the first 2, and around 2 years ago, she was hell-bent on me getting a vasectomy. I wasn't comfortable with it and refused, but it became the center of our arguments. We dated for 5 years before getting married, so we have been together for a total of 12 years when this occurred, and now we have been together for 14 years. These were such lovely times, and I didn't want to end our relationship on this, especially since we have kids together. So I agreed to the vasectomy after months of arguing. Fast forward to now, my wife is pregnant. She doesn't know how this could have happened, but I do. I never got that vasectomy. 2 years ago, I pretended that I got it, and I told her someone else took me to the appointment, and I took off a week of work so I can recover from it. I tried to be precautious during sex by pulling out, but it clearly didn't work. Now my wife is furious as I told her that the vasectomy could have failed rather than telling her the truth. She's also scheduling appointments with lawyers so she can sue the practice in which I received the surgery. However, if they have the records, it will prove that I never got it. Now my wife is also thinking about having an abortion, but I'm trying to convince her to drop this whole thing, and if anything, this child is a miracle. What should I do now? I'm worried if I tell her the truth, then she will leave me. I don't want to lose her. She is the love of my life. I don't know what I could do without her. I know this is all my fault, but please help me on how I should go about this. Oh, yikes. That's like, I feel like, I don't know. That should be illegal. I feel like that's some sort of like essay in some type of way, because she's sleeping with you and deciding to be intimate with you based on the fact that she knows that you got a vasectomy. I think she would probably feel different if you didn't get a vasectomy, right? So like it's weird that you're doing that you lied to her. First of all, obviously it's bad to lie to your partner, especially about something that huge. And then second, it's like you kind of forced her into this, and then also to try to convince her that this is a miracle. Sir, please. Your head? Something's wrong with it. Okay, let's read some comments. Someone said, do you often lie to and betray your wife? Honestly, I hope she leaves you. Also, I'm pretty sure in some states this could fall into grounds for rape. Oh, for sure. She agreed to have sex with him based on certain conditions, which he misled her to believe he had fulfilled. It's super grapey and gross. Ugh, I'm so repulsed by this. Then the fact that he's trying to convince her to carry the fetus to term, he views it as such an easy, no big deal task because he isn't the one who's going to endure extreme hormonal and physical challenges. Ugh. Yeah, I'm really pissed. I'm really pissed because it really makes me so mad when guys don't understand. Like, you don't understand what it's like to be pregnant. So how about you let the woman decide if she wants to get pregnant or not? Stop making it your, like, oh my God, I want 5 kids. Okay. You want to push them out of your penis hole? Didn't think so. You want to push them out of your bunghole? Didn't think so. So until you want to do that, and then maybe until science gets us to that point where men can have babies, which honestly, I would love if they made it so that, like, I didn't have to, if I was, like, done having kids and my husband still wanted to have babies, I would be more than happy if science let my husband put a womb in his stomach and get pregnant. I'd be like, sure. If you want to have the babies, sure. But, like, why are you acting like it's your decision? All you have to do is squirt some fluids out of your pee hole. And that's the extent to which you have to do with this pregnancy. Like, think about what I have to go through. Please. I'm disgusted. Someone said, okay, but LOL at the guy in the comments thinking vasectomy means they cut your balls off like neutering a dog and the wife should have noticed they were still there. Wait, I'm actually dead. I didn't see that. That's hilarious. He says in another comment that if the balls are there but can't be emptied, you get cancer. What? There is research that supports the idea that regular ejaculation has a preventative effect on testicular cancer, likely because dead sperm building up causes chronic low levels of inflammation. However, that doesn't mean that not ejaculating regularly increases your risk of cancer. That's literally not how it works. Oh yeah, my ex wouldn't sleep with me anymore because of medication side effects, but he'd still jack off 3 or 4 times a week to pre-op. What? Okay. I don't think I want to read that. Sorry. It's like kind of offensive, I feel like. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, apparently there are distressing number of folks out there who believe that you can choose when to get your period, hold it like pee, and or get sexual pleasure out of using a tampon, because obviously sticking anything in your vagina is automatically super hot, and don't we all want to masturbate in the bathroom at work or school? One man actually invented vaginal glue so women could manage their periods more efficiently. Of course, his glue sealed the vagina perfectly and stayed in place until she did a wee, when it all magically washed away. People had a lot of questions about how the glue didn't get washed away by menstrual fluid and whether the inventor had ever seen a vagina in person. What's going on? No gluing your labia shut will not stop your period leaks. Okay, that's real. Of course, a man invented this. Have you ever woken up with your lips stuck together? The ad reads. It didn't hurt, and it was kind of fun. All you had to do was wet your lips from the inside with saliva, and they became unstuck. Men says feminine lipstick is a natural patent compound of amino acids and oil in a lipstick applicator that is applied to the lips down under during the period. Urine instantly unsticks the labia and allows everything to wash out into the toilet. Wipe and reapply Men Says lipstick. Clean, safe, secure, and done. Coming to a store near you soon. Anyone who has ever had a period knows that gluing your labia together is not going to work. And if the idea is that the moisture from urine will instantly unstick the glue, why wouldn't the moisture from menstrual blood do the same? The fact is that we already have effective solutions for controlling our periods, and any innovation in the menstruation department should be left to people who actually menstruate. What's crazy is that usually, like, when I go to sleep, it's like the floodgates close. Does that ever happen to you guys? I mean, sometimes once in a while I will wake up and like the dam opens a little bit and a little bit of period blood comes out. But like for the most part, I usually just free bleed at night. So, because nothing happens until I get up in the morning and the floodgates open. So I hope you guys wanted to know that personal information about me. Anyways, let's move on to the next story. The title is, I, a 35 male, deeply regret manipulating my wife, female 34, into having children. I know it sounds bad, and I know we're not supposed to talk like this, but the biggest regret I have is having children. Our lives are ruined because of me, and I don't know where to go from here. My wife and I have been together 12 years, married 6. We have 2 kids. We had agreed to be child-free very early on, but as we were getting closer to 30, I just became obsessed with the idea of having children. We were engaged, and I told her that I would not marry her unless we had at least 1 child. We broke up for a bit, but we found our way back to each other, and she agreed to 1. She agreed under certain conditions, the main one being that she didn't want to stay home with the child for any more time than it took her to heal. She had an amazing job that she absolutely loved, worked very hard to get, and was extremely well paid. I had a job that I also loved but was not well paid. I'm in a field where there's a huge income disparity depending on what you do. I got to do what I loved because her job more than compensated financially. We had an amazing life and an amazing relationship. We traveled a lot in our country and internationally. We are both outdoorsy and active people and would take camping slash hiking slash rock climbing vacations regularly. We had tons of sex, tons of free income, a lot of financial security, and I effed it all up. My wife ended up pregnant with twins. They effed up the epidural, they effed up the C-section, and she had an extremely traumatic birth experience. Now, almost 2 years down the line, she struggles with chronic pain and extreme postpartum depression. She can't work at all. Not her job and not any other job. She can barely walk more than half an hour at a time without pain, and her mental state means she absolutely shouldn't be responsible for patients. She went from a high-powered position to laying in bed and crying all day. I honestly don't think there's been a day since the birth that she hasn't cried. We haven't been intimate in more than 2 years. My mom moved in with us to help raise the kids, and she's old school and doesn't believe in mental health. She's not the nicest to my wife, and they're alone all day. There is no one else we can ask, and we can't afford other help. She's in therapy, she's on medication, we've seen all the doctors we can see. I went from a low stress job I loved to a higher paying one that I hate. I work 12 plus hours on days and even weekends sometimes, and we're still struggling. I miss my old life so much. I miss my work and my friends, and above all, I so desperately miss my wife. Our children are being raised by my mom primarily. I spend as much time as I can with them, but I barely know them. I don't know what I was looking for when I wanted kids, but it certainly wasn't this. I don't blame them for anything, but I have a hard time bonding with them. My wife spends most of her time in our room and interacts with them when I'm there or during therapy. I don't think we're doing a good job with them. They're well cared for by my mom, well fed, happy, and safe, but I don't think we are as involved as parents should be. I'm struggling on seeing a way out. Therapy is helping, but the progress is so slow. I don't really know what more to do right now. I feel so much hatred for myself. We had such a good life. It all went down the drain, and in the end, my wife is ruined physically and mentally for something she didn't even want in the first place. I'm not sure what advice I'm asking for. I'm not sure what else there is to do here, but if anyone has anything to offer, even nice words, it would be appreciated. All our friends distance themselves, and we literally have no one but each other. Oh my God. See, this is why I feel like if you don't have like the same goals, big goals in life, like having kids is a very, very serious topic, and it's something to be taken very seriously. And you shouldn't convince someone to have kids because you shouldn't be with that person if your goals don't align. Like, I think I respect more if you break up because of that and you try to find someone else that more aligns with like what you want in your life than forcing your partner to have a kid because you want one. Like, ugh, yikes. Let's read some of the comments. This person said, I worked as a nanny for a family or two like this a lifetime ago. It was always terribly sad to see. Regretting having children really wrecks everyone involved. The kids know by the time they're 3 or 4 years old. The parents love them unless they're psychotic or super depressed but resent their presence. A nanny actually is the solution if they're going to keep the kids. It means that they get to only do the fun bits of parenting and leave the hard yards to another person. The kids get a stable, loving adult who is always happy to see them, and mom and dad come home at the end of the day and kiss them goodnight, but that costs money. Yeah, this would probably be the solution if his wife was physically healthy enough to return to her job, but it kind of sounds like the people around her have given up on helping her get there. Some people, unfortunately, don't get better after childbirth. That's my biggest fear. It's a major medical event, and it can flare up underlying conditions that would have been manageable if the person never got pregnant. I hope this wife is getting good medical support and they're looking for solutions. Stop. Don't say that to me. Why is this man allowing his mom to abuse his already mentally fragile wife? I mean, I know they need help, but dang, some homeless person off the street sounds like a better deal than his mom abusing his wife. Because he is too poor to afford childcare for $2 for two toddlers for 70 plus hours a week. I don't know if people get this, but That is thousands of dollars a month. Dude is a huge asshole, but he is as much a man as anyone. No need for quotations. Hitler and Bob Ross were both equally men, just one shitty and one great. Yeah. Well, that is really sad. And I feel like I definitely encourage anyone who has misaligning values and goals in life to not be together, because that is just like the worst case scenario. And that's, I'm sure that happens like pretty often with couples that stay together and end up like hot, because there are things that you can compromise on. Okay, there are things you can change your mind on. I don't think kids is one of them. Okay, the title of the next story. I cheated on my wife 3 years ago. She agreed to forgive me if we opened the marriage, but now I live in agony every day. So basically, my wife, 39, found out that I, 41, have been hooking up with a woman I met online who lived 2 hours away. When the woman visited, we checked into a hotel. This went on for 3 months, and we had met a handful of times when my wife caught us. She was waiting in the hotel lobby and saw us coming down from the room. She left me the next day. We separated for 8 months, and they were terrible on all of us, especially the children, male 9, female 7, and female 3. We started talking about getting back together. My wife thought that since our sex life wasn't enough for me and that she was sure I would cheat on her again, we might as well open the marriage. I told her no because I've learned my mistake, but she wouldn't waver. I relented. We decided, she did, not to tell each other the when, where, and with whom. Now, over 2 years later, we are back to normal on the outside. On the inside, I'm dying a little each day. Every time I see her happy, I wonder if this is just her old, bubbly self or if she was thinking of someone. She is a very beautiful woman, and I'm sure she has no problems finding men who want her. Whenever she takes a shower after coming home, whenever she rejects my advances, I think that she has been with someone, and that kills me. I have tried to discuss closing the marriage again, but she shuts these attempts very quickly with the divorce card. Before all this happened, we had amazing sex several times a week, but now we have probably done it 4 to 5 times these past 3 years. She demands I use protection, and she refuses to let me eat her or make her finish in any way. I stopped asking because it's painfully bad now. I haven't slept with anybody else because the look on my wife's face in that lobby still makes me sick with guilt. I don't know how much more I can take. I love my wife and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Will she ever stop punishing me? Have you ever forgiven a cheating spouse and stopped punishing them? What's going on in her head? Oh my God. That's crazy. I mean, I guess like that's kind of, I feel like that kind of should go on the pro revenge subreddit, because it seems like she's getting her revenge on him and he's literally suffering an agony, and he's going to suffer an agony for as long as she wants him to. Okay, some of the comments. So you had a great intimate life, but you needed to cheat? Okay, divorce or let it go. You brought this on yourself. Had amazing, I can't say this word so many times, jeez. I feel like it's going to get me demonetized. You had amazing intimacy 4 to 5 times a week. You screwed the pooch and now you get no cooch. Oh, okay. Well, if it isn't the consequences of OP's own actions. I effed around and found out if I ever saw it, although there's nothing stopping him since it's now an open marriage. Yeah, but the only reason he probably did it was because of the thrill. And now he doesn't want to do it because now he has the permission to. And he's not like doing anything bad to get that adrenaline feeling. Before you cheated, you guys had an amazing intimate life several times a week. You love your wife and you want to spend the rest of your life with her. You guys also have 3 young kids. So why did you cheat for 3 months? Yeah, and only until he got caught. Probably would have been longer if he wasn't found out. No question. He stopped because she caught him and there were consequences. That's the only reason. Now he wants to cry about the consequences his crappy actions brought. He deserves to live in misery until she kicks his ass to the curb. Honestly, yeah. All power to that woman, but hopefully she leaves him, because honestly, like, I feel like she'd be happier without him. I don't know. I just feel like she seems like so much happier. So why not just leave him and live your life like you're doing? But I feel like just having a whiny man around all the time is just probably bringing your aura down. Okay, the title of the next story. I made my girlfriend cry for admitting that my best friend is more attractive than her. I, 25 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 24 female, for almost a year now. Before we became official, we were friends for at least 4 years. Other than my girlfriend, the second most important person in my life is my best friend, 24 female. We've been best friends for more than a decade, and she's been there for me for all my lowest points. I literally would not have survived this long without her. Our relationship is purely platonic. I admit that I've had a crush on her before, but we both admitted that it would be better for us to stay as best friends, and that was that. She isn't the stereotype girl best friend either. She's just my best friend who just happens to be a female. She respects boundaries, and I'd like to believe that she generally just sees me as a friend, and vice versa. We've been each other's support system for a long time and even trust each other more than our own parents. Recently, my girlfriend asked me if I think she's prettier / more attractive than my best friend. For context, my best friend is a successful fashion model and influencer. She looks like your typical model / influencer, tall, slender, clear skin, while my girlfriend is honestly short, quite chubby, and has a lot of acne. I love my girlfriend, I really do. She has social anxiety and thus sometimes goes for long periods of time without contacting me, but I've never once felt any doubt or temptation to cheat or find someone else. I accept and love her as she is. When she asked that question, I answered that yes, I believe my best friend is prettier and more attractive than her. I mean, come on. My girlfriend is a normal girl, and my best friend literally gets paid and receives lots of free stuff solely for her looks. She got offended and started crying. She hasn't talked to me in a while either. I don't understand why she's acting that way. I mean, the answer was obvious, but it doesn't make me love her any less. I clearly chose to date her instead of other women. I accept her as a whole package. I told my best friend about the answer and she slapped me. Now she's been on my ass telling me to make it right. Was I expected to very blatantly lie to my girlfriend? Wouldn't it have been worse if it wasn't honest? Anyone who has eyes could clearly see who's the more attractive one. Wouldn't it be a slap to her to just lie to her face that way? I don't get why I have to be the bad guy in this situation. I'm sorry, you're the dumbest person I've ever heard of. Because, yes, lying is bad, but in certain circumstances, it is warranted. And you should lie straight to your girlfriend's face and tell her that she is the most beautiful girl in the world and that you think that she's way more beautiful than your best friend. Because obviously, I know I'm not the most beautiful girl in the world, okay? Obviously, when my boyfriend tells me, you're the most beautiful girl in the world, am I? No. Margot Robbie exists. But, like, do I want him to be like, you're not the most beautiful girl in the world? There's this person that's prettier, this person that's prettier, this person that's prettier. No, you are so dumb and embarrassing. But there's an update. It says, I was able to talk with her. She apparently told other people about the situation, and everyone, including her own mother, sides with me. She shouldn't have been asking me questions like that when the answer was obvious. She apologized for even asking that question in the first place. To everyone saying I should have broken up with her, we're good. I'm feeling very betrayed by my best friend instead because it's clear whose side she took. She's the only one who took my girlfriend's side. Most of the people we know are also upset at her. These are people who actually know us in the relationship. Oh my God, please. For the love of God. I really hope this girl broke up with this guy because I'm so embarrassed. Okay, let's read these comments because I'm very interested. This person said 25 years old is way too old to not understand how dumb that is. Who describes their girlfriend as short, quite chubby, and has lots of acne? Like, Jesus, that's brutal. If my partner described me like that, there would be a problem. And then he says anyone with eyes would see that. Like, what the F? Right? He already had a crush on her, and the relationship is platonic because his best friend doesn't like him. He's describing her as someone he clearly settled for, and like he's doing his girlfriend a favor by loving someone who is short, chubby, with acne. I feel so bad for her. The fact that she apologized for him blatantly not even regarding her wanting validation. Yeah, because I'm sure that she probably already like feels that way. So maybe just validate her that you don't think that way because she can probably see it with her own eyes, like you said. Are you sure you are interested in your best friend more than your actual girlfriend? Because I get those vibes. You can tell the best friend doesn't want him, though, and never will. What a good person. Hope the girlfriend finds someone better. I think you're confusing hottest with attractiveness. I think it is safe to say your best friend is hot, but attractiveness depends on the person. So you should always be more attracted to your girlfriend than your friend. Yeah, but he's not, because he is the devil in this, as this subreddit would be asking. Am I the devil? Yes, you are. She did ask who was the hottest. She asked who you thought was more attractive. If you can look at your partner in the face and say, my best friend is more attractive than you, then you don't deserve your partner. Your partner should always be the most attractive person in your eyes. And if they're not, then maybe it's best to part ways. She deserves to be with someone who thinks she's the most beautiful person in the world. Exactly. Because there's definitely obviously more to it than that. Your girlfriend deserves better than you. You don't love her. You describe her with absolute disdain, but you raved about your so called best friend. Anyone who can read knows exactly who you really want. I hope your girlfriend dumps you because she deserves better than an asshole like you. T. I agree. I stand 10 toes behind that. That's all the stories we have for today's episode. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the first Am I the Devil subreddit episode. I did, because that was just crazy. I feel like I've read a similar story to that. I hope I haven't read that story before, but I feel like I've read a similar story to that before, where that's like the same scenario, the same type of scenario. And I'm sure it's pretty common because, God forbid, a man lie for the right reasons. My God. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye. Love you. On this week's episode on Storytime Society Patreon, coming Saturday. December 23rd is my mom's birthday. She's an awful person. She tried to get me pregnant at 14 because she wanted more money from the state. Some parents are just, they need to be jailed. Like, if you're a bad parent, you should be jailed, genuinely. It should be a felony. She gave birth to me, so I should do what she says. She grabbed a kitchen knife and ran at me. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.